experience with other features. So what has your previous experience taught you that helped you with this film?
Yeah, I think, well, I did a lot of like YouTube stuff back in the day, and that is as real as you could get. Where you just get a camera, you got like 3 people, and you got to shoot, and you got to just do it now, and it's got to get done. So I learned that discipline of like just speed. I'm trying to come up with a better word for speed, but I can't.
Got your 10,000 hours by doing
yeah, exactly. So I think I just learned how to move quicker on set and not like and work a lot in prep so that on set we can be as efficient as possible. Because on these budgets and schedules and everything, you just don't have time to ponder on set. You have to move. You have to go.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing.
And you mentioned in the press notes that how this was a meditation on forgiveness. Can we forgive the ones who hurt us the most? So, do you feel like making this movie has helped you answer that question, or did it create more questions for you?
Well, I think that's a great question. Yeah, I think we're all working through things, with whether it's family or friends or someone who's wronged you or the barista that looks like they maybe spit in your coffee, like it could be anything, and it's like how do you deal with them? But I find that people more often than not are not out to get you.
Yeah.
People are not trying to hurt you deliberately. I think it's more accidental, and I think people come up with all these conspiracy theories of this person's trying to destroy my life. It's like so not the case. Like they're just all up in their business, and they're not thinking about you.
Right.
And you're just like the aftermath.
What attribute or experience on this set that you haven't had before that you appreciated the most in doing this movie?
Well, one thing I always appreciate, not that I haven't had it before, because a crew I work with most frequently is like a family, but walking on and being a new member of a family, which I haven't been able to do in a long time, was really quite not only beautiful but like easy, and just like coming into your like little family that you guys have built. That's the family you could have chosen was. We've said it today and we'll say it again. It was the best part, the best surprise, and the best part.
Part of the family.
You are, I know. Once you're in one, I'm adopted.
What are you ladies going to miss most about your character?
Oh, God.
Her strength.
Yeah, that's good, yeah. I especially appreciated that about her.
Yeah.
It's really...
I'm going to miss Nick's strength.
We all need a little bit of that.
I think Kim was she's so damaged and maybe not even damaged is where she is still a conundrum to me, and she's still confusing to me.
You're so full. There's so much.
And she's like a bunch of burning strings, and like she can't put the fire out, and it's sort of just like. But I will say I don't let things go easily. And she lets things go way too easy. So maybe in the middle.
I kind of want to know from you guys your process. Do you start with the external or the internal? How do you guys work your characters through when you start before you get on set and everything?
Yeah, I always start with the internal, but I love the external stuff. That's like the cherry on top when you get close to shooting, and you meet with the team, and you come up with the haircut you want to do, and you figure out the clothes, you put on the shoes or no shoes, or that all informs it and kind of sinks you into it once you're there. And that solidifies it. But I think
the glasses in particular for you.
The glasses,
was
yeah,
a real confidence builder.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, all the little things add up, and then that gives you kind of the freedom to then play, and you do the homework beforehand so that you can let it go and have fun, and yeah.
That type of external is always like you said, the cherry on top. It's like the glass. You're just sort of like spray painting it, but the words are. That's where the whole character is. And I don't even know if that's really external. It's on the page as an actor, but it's your voice as the character. So it kind of meets in the middle there too. I had an acting coach that always used to say, just because the writer wrote it doesn't mean you get to say it, which sort of means you only get to say it if you really know where it's coming from. Which I feel like everything you wrote was super authentic, and you kind of just like you either had to accept where it was coming from or you're going to run away.
Yeah.
Well, you have so much like intelligence and wit about you that like you can see that in your eyes, like even when you're not talking, like you're thinking, you're processing, like we're interested in like what's going on in your head, and it's like she's keeping all this like so tight. I think that's why your performance is so powerful to people, because they're that's like coming through your eyes without
so many lines that nobody ever heard.
Yeah.
Just like
So what's going on?
They're making up their own backstory of what's going on.
That's fair.
What has been the response from the LGBTQ community, and has anything surprised you in what they've responded to?
Yeah, I think we've had a warm response. We just premiered today, so
Yeah.
so
Is this the first time it's ever been
20
seen
minutes
anywhere?
ago, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
But I did speak to a very nice reporter from the Philadelphia Gay News, and we were talking about the film and how it surprised her, and how it's a very sensitive thing about being bisexual,
Yeah.
and having a character that kind of swings in different directions, and there have been depictions of those type of characters, and they're kind of not demonized, but they definitely don't get as fair a shake within that community as some of the other groups. And so, but we were talking about how the movie wasn't about her. It wasn't about that. It was about this person who is struggling to figure out who she is. It really is not about how she identifies herself. And I think that's really important. I think it's there's so many lost people that are like trying to figure it out, because when you grow up, there's so much that you're told who you are by your parents and all the things that you've been told how to live, and then you get that out on your own, and there's this weird period where you're floating and you're trying to figure it out, and maybe everything that you've known, maybe that's all a lie, maybe it's all this other thing that you really like. So people are very complex and messy, and I think people are still figuring it out to the very last day.
What do you guys cherish most about being an indie film? What do you like about it?
I like how every single person is a collaborator, because you'd think that'd be the case.
Yeah.
My experience is mostly as being an actor, and sometimes you're put in like a room with padded walls.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, just going to the bathroom now.
Yeah.
And if something needs to be moved on set, everyone gets in to move something on set and be calm. And like we said earlier today, like the idea is to get the film done as best as possible, because you're all there for the same reason as you think everyone would be. But I think in any job that you do, as far as I've heard, it's not always the case. And hopefully, I think we had a really special experience, but hopefully the indie film that you're doing, and hopefully the film that you're doing, is like this. But life isn't always like that, as we can tell by watching the film. Life isn't always what you picture it to be.
Yeah, that's really about that community, that tribe of people that you build everything around, and it's the crew, it's the cast, it's kind of having that shorthand. I think that goes a long way. And the movies that I like the best that are huge scale, bigger budget, big TV shows, it's when you feel like they're all a family too, and they're doing that same mentality. It's just the scale is bigger.
True.
So I think you can still maintain that no matter what the size of the project is or how many shoot days you have.
Sure.
I like that mentality.
Yeah.
So, as a filmmaker, you go on, you see it on the big screen, and you can see probably a million things that you would probably want to do differently, or change, or figure out, or go, oh man, I missed that.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen the movie 100 times over. But I want to know from you.
500 times, yeah.
Yeah, I want to know from you, not what you saw that was bad. I want to know from you what you thought you nailed.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I'm not going to sound egotistical here.
Mr. Humble has to suck it up.
Couldn't if you tried.
Well, I know. Well, it's funny because
Do you want us to tell you?
No. I'm not fishing, guys. No, but it's funny because when we found out we got into Slamdance, something clicked in my head and I was like, I need to change some stuff. So I went back in and I cut some things a little tighter and put some cards up and I just there were certain things that were bubbling, but then once I knew it was going to be exhibited and shown, I was like, okay, now it's now I got to really cinch it. So that was something that I was proud that I knew to do that, as opposed to know later and be like, I should have done that thing.
Sure.
It's never too late to make changes, as George Lucas has showed us. I think he's still editing a Star Wars movie somewhere.
It's already aired. He's still editing.
He's got a
better one.
super duper cut.
For all the fans out there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And this is the first time we used a zoom lens. I never really used a zoom lens to shoot scenes, and that was a personal I've never done it, but I'm going to try it and see if I can do a scene in one shot that's a slow zoom, kind of like Robert Altman used to do. And it's those are some of my favorite scenes where you have 6 characters, they're all talking over each other with overlapping dialogue, and the camera's just kind of wandering and finding them. And so that was really a big experimental thing, because we didn't get other coverage. It was like, this is what we got.
Mhm.
And I was so happy with the results because I felt like the performances were more organic. 'Cause sometimes when you're on set and everyone has to like wait their turn, it just
Right.
feels, I don't know, a little stilted.
On
Well,
edge,
yeah, but when everyone can kind of talk over it, that's what real life is.
Yeah.
When you're at a restaurant, like, there's like six
Like
things,
a
like
skip.
we're here, and then there's half here, and then over here a little bit, and then
Yeah.
drunk guy barfs over there. And that's
And
all
sound
interesting.
is just sitting there going, why am I here?
Yeah.
What advice would you all have, I want to know from each of you, for inexperienced actors or directors? What's one thing that you would tell them that you wish you had been told?
Ooh. I would say just keep at it, like keep
Yeah.
doing it. I think I went to film school and I started making movies like over the summer. I made my first feature the summer after my sophomore year. I was like, you have to just do this. You have to learn. You have to grow with your community and you have to log your hours. And I think just doing it and find the people in your community and near you and don't try and work with people that it might take 5 years to get a hold of them or whatever. Just go do it. And you're just going to keep getting better and just keep growing and just stay at it.
I think it's a luxury that we have, which you didn't realize on the other side because you just don't. Like you don't appreciate it when you're a waitress or, personal fitness or at the gym or, a barista. Like you don't appreciate that if this is your dream, wherever you are, it's kind of what you should be doing because the only thing you should be doing is talking to people and watching people and listening. Because all you should be doing all day long is absorbing stories, and if you're not, and go watch everything and read everything, but if you're not in the real world and you're not, talking to people and strangers that you don't know, then how are you ever going to be able to understand a character that you portray on page?
Yeah, very true.
That's great advice. Yeah. I think I grew up reading all these film books of like how other people did it.
Yeah.
And what's funny is as soon as they're written, it's a totally different way of how to get in. And it's like the old like you pop your movie in the mail and you send it to somebody and you get an agent and now you're getting millions of dollars and they're remaking your $8,000 movie into a $20 million movie and it's like all the phone calls, it won't stop ringing. That doesn't really happen.
You're like, where do I get a VHS?
Yeah,
That's how I start.
that happened to like 2 people in the 90s, maybe. And then since it's like, it evolves like constantly. And so I think it's just, look at what you have in your immediate surroundings, the people around you, but also the equipment. Like, you don't need the fanciest cameras. You don't need the craziest lenses. You don't need the most like, highest on the star meter IMDb people. Like that is not necessary to make and tell a good story. What you need is you need truth, and you need to just go do it and put it out there. And you're gonna get better because the more you work it, I think you learn each time out. And and film school offers that you can kind of do it in private. And I sort of did it in public. I was like learning in public with all my like short films and sketches and things, for better or worse. Some people do. But anyway, that I think is just get as much experience as you can because ultimately, like if you want to keep going and keep making stuff, that's the only way. That's how I feel like I've heard Martin Scorsese say each time making a movie, it's like take your hat out, ask for money. Like he still has to go around. He's like Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest filmmakers ever, and he's like schlepping around, hustling.
Busking on the side of the road.
He's busking.
You've never seen him on Hollywood and Vine?
That's how he funded The Departed.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is a common misconception of like, as soon as I get an agent, as soon as I get a manager, like I'm
Of course,
set, it's good, right? But
doesn't
it
happen
never,
that
way.
no, it's always has to come from you. You have to be the driver of whatever you want to do.
So you
And,
you
like,
basically put
there's
in, whatever you put into it, you get out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that never goes away from like student films to Scorsese.
And you just have to work really hard.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so many people want the shortcut. There's no shortcut. You have to
Yeah,
work
there's
so hard, and it's like it has to be your everything. If it's not, then maybe it's not for you because
Yeah.
you have to give it your everything. If you don't, it's probably not going to happen. But if you give it everything, you work it, and you love it, like that's going to come through, and people are going to see that. That's what I believe.
Yeah.